be painting Amir from Welcome to Nexilis. And real quick before we get started, I'm just gonna go on my social media and let everybody know that this is live now. So I hope everybody's having a good day so far. It's nice weather out here today, and I know it's snowy and cold in a lot of parts of the country, and we're still getting some nasty weather, so I hope that everybody watching is safe and warm enough with all that going on. Alrighty. Give me just a second. Just posting the link so everybody can know that this is live. My dog, as usual, is joining me in my little room. So sometimes he gets kind of impatient when I'm painting because he's like, I don't want to be in here. But he's pretty good about it. But anyways, just going live with the Twitch. I'm going to be painting Amir from Welcome to Nexilis. Yeah. Just gotta paste this in this one last place. And then I will get started. Alright. Okay. So, Amir is a cleric in Welcome to Nexilis. And he's also a baker. He is the one so far, if anybody's been watching the streams over on Casper Oliver's Twitch channel, Amir is the one that bakes all the healing things and all the fun stuff like that. So far, he has given the party members pastries that are healing and pastries that are calming, and also just been kind of a nice refuge for them to go when they're, experiencing some unpleasant emotions. And if you're watching Welcome to Nexilis, you will know they are experiencing a lot of unpleasant emotions. But that's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who may not be watching. But anyways, so, Amir, though, is a cleric of the D&D god Pelor, and Pelor's symbol is a little sunshine. So, I'm going to be using more earthen tones for Amir, because I know some of the, I think it's interesting thinking about color schemes in comparison to, what characters are like. That's always a cool thing to think about. Hello, Casper. Thank you for joining me. I know you're hyped to be able to see Amir get painted. Because if I'm not mistaken, he's one of the, not your first, your oldest OC that you have in Welcome to Nexilis, but I know you've had him for a while. So, I'm excited to be able to paint him for you. Just getting all my fun paint colors out. Gonna get some nice bright but earthy tones. That's what I'm gonna be using. And I'm getting out some colors. I don't know if I'm gonna use all these colors. I might. But I'd rather get some of them out that I think I might use than not get them out and be like, oh no. Because I know I'm going to be using a lot of yellows and golds and stuff like that. And if I can find it. Oh, okay, cool. Yay! That's what I'm remembering. Based on, Amir was the second D&D character I ever made, and he was based on one of my first ever OCs. Oh, that's awesome. Cool. Well, Amir is awesome, and I'm glad you made him into a D&D character, because he's really cool and nice, and seems just like the kind of person you'd want to have as a friend. Just like a nice, comforting person. So, yeah. That's cool. And again, I'm glad that you made him a D&D character, because he has a nice role in the show. And when we did the campaign, it was always like, oh yeah, there's Amir. Just a nice, comforting character. And in a world like Nexilis, you need characters like that. Alright. This is things that will probably make artists cringe, because it's making me cringe. Me going like, last week I don't think I rinsed out my brushes. This is, like I said last time, this is why I don't have nice brushes. Anyways, yeah, no, I didn't do that. Alright, well, it's time to put all these in the water, because I left this room last week when I painted and did not soak my brushes. But I got plenty of other brushes, including some that aren't dried up, you know. So, I'm gonna be starting with this one. Amir's the kind of character that you would like to, like, if he's your neighbor, he'd be the one that was always bringing over cookies and stuff like that. And I bet he would make really good holiday cookies. Just the kind of person that, like, would make you a cup of tea and you could just tell him about your problems and stuff, and, like, somebody who'd be happy to listen and try to help if they could. That's the kind of person that I picture him being. Yes, Amir helps balance out all the angst and bull honky. Even though his backstory's a bit tragic. Yeah, that is definitely true. And there needs to be somebody like that. In addition to, you know, all the characters that have, you know, maybe not so good intentions. It's nice to have a character who, you know, is nice and comforting. And somebody that's, you know, can provide a sense of stability with all the different wild things happening in Nexilis. Yeah, he would be the kind of neighbor to make those elaborate cookie boxes around the holidays. He totally would. The kind of be like you would go over to, you'd be like, oh yeah, I have a gift for you, and you would be like, no, it's probably something nice, but you'd go over there and be like, this really nice elaborate cookie box, all these fancy cookies that he'd made himself. That would be so nice. Like the kind of person, if you showed up for a potluck, like you would know you'd be getting nice, good, tasty stuff. That also was, you know, aesthetically decorated. So yeah, that's the kind of neighbor everybody needs, to be honest. A neighbor like, I have had some decent neighbors. I can't think of any that stand out specifically as being the kind of person that I was like, oh, this is a good neighbor that I would, you know, that I would trust a lot and like want to go to if I needed something. But like Amir strikes me as that kind of neighbor who would do that. And who, if you knew if you had any kind of problem, you know, if like, even if something in your house was broken or something, that he would like try to come over and fix it, even if he didn't really know what he was doing. He would be like, oh yeah, and like, you know, you would know you could depend on him. So, because of that, that's the kind of neighbor that everybody needs. If we're being honest. All right. But yeah, hope everybody's having a good day, and if you're working, I hope that's going well, and if you're working on projects, I hope that those projects are going well. So, I haven't been doing that much today. I've been doing some household cleaning, which was much needed. Because I have ADHD, stuff does tend to pile up in different flat surfaces. So because of that, there's always, like, a lot of times behind my kitchen chair, it kind of goes into the dining room, and like I'll put grocery bags back there before I've unpacked them. The problem is the fact that sometimes they create rather a pile of stuff, and then because it's a pile, then I'm like, oh, I'll put some other stuff there, and before you know it, it's like a big pile. So I cleaned that up today, and it looks a lot nicer, and I swept the floor under it. Oh, thank you, Casper, for posting the link. Yay! I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Hello, Mal. How are you? I hope you're doing good today. I'm glad that you can relate to that. And my brain hates cleaning too, because, like, I hate being messy, but also neither of my parents have ever not been messy. Like, my whole household has always been a mess my entire life. But I've, always wanted to not, have a messy house. But because of how I was raised, it's like that was the norm. I was raised like that. So it's a habit to break, and it's kind of hard because of being raised that way. And also a hard habit to break because, again, having ADHD, my brain is like, I don't want to clean. Why would I want to clean? And there's like, I didn't realize last night that this pile of like grocery bags and craft supplies and stuff behind my kitchen chair was as big as it was until I looked at it last night, and I looked at it kind of objectively, and I'm like, that's worse than I thought it was, and I need to deal with it. And like, that's something I'm genuinely trying to get better at, because I don't like things being messy like that. But if I don't pay attention and I'm not diligent, then that kind of tends to happen. So it's something I'm perpetually working on and trying to get better at, and trying to remind myself, like, if I clean even a couple minutes a day, it's better than doing nothing. It's all good. Yay! Thank you. I'm glad that even if you won't be able to listen to the whole thing, you'll still be able to watch. Like, you can always, if you want, you can watch the view on demand will be on YouTube, and obviously the replay will be on Twitch and stuff, so. But I'll just be chatting, hanging out. So yeah. I hope your show goes well, Casper. You grew up in a house that was the opposite. Yeah. That's a good point too, about how cleaning with limited spoons. That's something that my family was messy, but on the same time didn't understand cleaning with minimal spoons. So I can relate to that a lot, of me never being taught, like, this is how you clean. Like, I was really never taught how to clean, and that's the problem. I have obviously gleaned knowledge from everything else I've done in my life, and from books, and just seeing, like, this works, this doesn't work. I have gleaned knowledge, but it's not something that I was taught. Like, I was never taught, like, oh yeah, like, my parents when I was a child would be like, put your stuff away. Like, they'd be like, clean your room. But a lot of it, like, they couldn't really speak on that subject because their areas of the house were also messy. But I wasn't taught how to clean in general, but I also wasn't taught how to clean, with limited spoons, with limited ability to focus on cleaning. You go so long with it cleaning that when you finally do, your boyfriend will put dirty laundry in the hamper because he's filled with clean laundry. That's also a mood. I tend to put off if I have to do something. If I have to do something that is like something routine, like laundry and cleaning stuff, a lot of times I do tend to put it off until it really needs to be done. Like, I eat lunch in my car, and there's, like, I'm embarrassed to admit, there's a lot of times, though, that I've been like, I'll take my trash in tomorrow. And, like, the trash is in a bag in the car, but it still kind of starts smelling funky. That was one good thing when I did do murder mystery shows, is that I had to keep my car clean, because people will be riding in my car. So it made me have to keep my car clean, but, like, in the pandemic, I haven't had that so much because, again, nobody's riding in my car except me, and I work in retail and I eat lunch in my car. So because of that, I have the issue that I'll keep putting off doing things like that. So I totally feel the thing about the laundry. I also hate having to have the different laundry baskets. Because it's like, I mean, like in our laundry room, we just kind of put all the clothes in a pile on the floor. Like my whole family that's what we always have done. And then we have laundry baskets in my parents' room, but they don't usually fold their clothes. And I try to fold my clothes, but it usually kind of ends up in different piles on like chairs and stuff in my parents' room, to be honest. Yeah, and I also understand like Nicole, that not everybody has that much space to do stuff. I I hate. Oh, that's a good idea, Mal. Having different hanging things, like hanging clothes things, because hanging up clothes takes time, and like I went through a phase where I hung up like everything. I just usually don't have that much motivation. So I just have drawers. I don't fold stuff. I just like, here's my shorts. They're going in the drawer. I used to be real adamant about folding all my stuff. And then I'm like, there's other things I need to spend my time and energy on. Hanging up clothes takes a long time and sucks. So I get that. Yeah. It is definitely a mood. Like, it's me being like, oh yeah, I'll get to that eventually, and I keep putting it off, and I feel bad about it because like a lot of times I won't deal with it until I have to. For example, my car, when it starts smelling because the food's been in there for a long time, and then I get in my car and I'm like, this isn't smelling very nice right now. So then finally at that point I'll be like, it's time to clean it up. Time to take the trash in the house. Yeah. Yeah, having an office, Nicole, would be nicer. You wouldn't have to worry about the clothes so much then. And that having to take your clothes to a laundromat would make sense to have a clothes basket for that. But it is annoying to have multiple clothes baskets. Yes, I've had a washing machine most of my life, but we did have a phase where like our landlord wouldn't fix our washing machine, and I was only like a little kid back then, but I still hated going to the laundromat because it was so boring. There was literally nothing to do there, and I can totally see why it would be the most spoon sucking experience. Because you're literally sitting there, and you have to like wait the whole time your clothes is being washed. Like you don't want people to take your clothes, or take your clothes out of the washer so they can wash their clothes. So like, and you would have to do it a lot. Like I think about how in our household, how many times, how many loads of clothes we have to run just for 3 people in my household. There's a lot of clothes. And the same with like loads of dishes. Like we run probably like 2 loads of clothes a day here, and like probably 2 to sometimes 3 loads of dishes, because we cook a lot of stuff at home. And I'm like, if I can put it in the dishwasher, it's gonna go in the dishwasher. If like, there's obviously some things that can't go in the dishwasher, and there's been some times that we didn't really have a dishwasher. So I understand how that sucks, but like having a dishwasher, I'm like, I don't care if this has some stuff stuck on it and it's kind of questionable. I'm gonna put it in the dishwasher and see what happens, because I don't want to hand wash this. And I a lot of times won't buy things unless it's something that's dishwasher safe. Because I'm like, if I have to hand wash it, it's again gonna get put off until the last second. And I'm trying to get better at not leaving things until the last second. For example, lunch trash in my car. And at least I'm getting in the habit of like putting the trash in a bag instead of just leaving it on the floor of my car, in a little pile. So I'm getting better about that, but I still need to get better about actually bringing it in, not just sitting there and leaving it in there until it stinks. And again, that was something like when I actually did the murder mystery shows that required traveling to shows. Like my car was clean, but it was because I had to have it clean. That motivated me to keep it clean, because I needed to do it. So, trying to soak my paintbrush, and my paintbrushes, me not soaking them is, again, a prime example of my ADHD. Me being like, yeah, I'll soak my paintbrushes later, and then here it is a week later, and they have dried up paint on them because I didn't clean them. And again, that's why I'm like, I'm going to buy the cheapest paintbrushes I can get that are not those ones that are really sharp and hard to use. If it's a decent paintbrush and it's like $4 for a bunch of them, I'm going to get it because I'm going to ruin it. Alright. And, I'm trying to make sure there's not little flecks of dried paint that are going to come off this brush. I'm trying to think exactly, trying to think what I want Amir to wear because I need to kind of start painting that. So, I'm thinking of a little tunic because I was told he wears cottagecore, and that made me really happy because I love cottagecore. So, because of that, I'm just looking. I might do something different with the bangs, but I will decide that. Thank you. I'm glad you like how he's coming out. Do you have any specific outfit suggestions of anything you have in mind? Like, would you wear like a little kind of brown vest? I'm kind of picturing clothes kind of like Frog and Toad type clothes, like from the books. Yeah, he would be hella cottagecore because he would sit there and be like, he has the tea part. Okay, awesome, good. I'm gonna look up a picture then of like the Frog and Toad outfit so I can do that then, because that was what I was picturing, and I wanted to, because I can totally see him wearing that outfit. But yeah, he's definitely cottagecore. He has the whole tea part down. He has baking. He would like totally go on picnics and stuff like that. I can picture him also enjoying gardening. So I can totally see the cottagecore part. Okay, cool. All right, cool. I know I'm gonna do that. All right, cool. That's always the hard part of drawing stuff, is like trying to figure out like, okay, cool, I'm gonna draw this character, and it's like, what should they wear though? Because like sometimes I know like, yeah, this character would totally wear this, but other times I'm like, they could like what they would wear, but also trying to keep with my theme of colors and just vague color theme. And that's like an interesting thing to think about, is how different characters have different kind of color vibes in different colors. Like if you're going to paint this character, that character you associate with these colors, in colors that just seem fitting. Like you could draw them with other characters, but there's certain colors, you could draw them in different colors, but there's certain colors that seem most fitting. But anyways, so I'm gonna draw, because like the Frog and Toad type outfits, from the pictures I am looking at to refresh my mind, I have like a kind of brown jacket, but neither of them are wearing shirts. So what I'm gonna do for Amir is give him a little kind of like cream colored shirt, and I'm picturing it having kind of a rounded collar, the button. So I'm gonna paint how the outline of that would be. But yeah, Amir definitely is cottagecore. Because also, like, a cottage really is the only place I can picture Amir being, like, super hyped to live. He would definitely be, like the kind of person that you could picture living in a pretty little cottage in the woods with, like, pretty flowers around it. And making tea and baking and, like, listening to the birds chirp and stuff like that. Okay. So that's how the top is going to be on the shirt. So now I've gotten that, I'm going to get my brown. Get my brown and paint the jacket part after I find a paintbrush that I want to use. It's all good. All right. So, here, dog barking outdoors. We got a lot of dogs in our neighborhood, so it never surprises me when I hear that. It's like sometimes when I walk my dog, like all the other dogs in the neighborhood out. And the funny thing about my dog is he's only like 15 pounds. He's really small because he's a Boston Terrier Shih Tzu Chihuahua mix. But he loves big dogs as much. I mean, he's kind of scared of all dogs a little bit. He's not the most sociable of dogs. But he... Okay, I'm thinking of some cute ideas for this habit. Anyways, he loves big dogs, but he's terrified of little dogs. I'm just laughing at this little Twitch conversation in the chat. Get off my Twitch, yo. Anyways, so, anyways, my dog is terrified of small dogs. He's really especially terrified if a small dog drives past in a car. He loves big dogs, though. He wants to go up and see them more than their owners usually want them to come see my dog. Because they don't want their dog, who might be large and rambunctious, to squish my little dog. So, because of that, right now I'm also trying to think of how our arms shaped. Because I wanted to kind of be like, he has his arm in front of him, kind of, like the arm would be coming down like this way. But I'm like, I'm going to draw this elbow. Darn it. I think I should probably paint that, because, like, it can do the arm here, but I don't want it to look like his elbow is, like, at a weird angle. I'm trying to think, like, I'm trying to think how hands are shaped also, because I could do him holding a little teacup over here, if I can figure out how to do that. But yeah, my dog is terrified of small dogs, especially if they're in cars. But he likes big dogs. And again, they're usually rambunctious. And he's always like, he wants to see them. But and sometimes they're angry. He's still like, oh, it's a dog. I want to see it. Hi, Cecil. Well, if you can still hear me, Casper, thank you for continuing to watch. Even if you cannot hear it, you can still get to watch little Amir get painted. But yeah. Yeah, my dog's funny like that. Because he'll want to go up and sniff dogs, but if they try to sniff him, he'll get scared. Like, of course, that's how my dog would be. He'll go up, and if they want to, like, sniff him, he'll run away. Or he doesn't usually get angry at other dogs, but he has before. If they keep sniffing him, he starts looking kind of angry. Occasionally he'll growl at them, but he wants to, like, free reign to sniff them, but he doesn't want them sniffing him back. I'm just like, you can't just sniff them and then not let them sniff you back. It's not fair if you're like, I'm gonna sniff you. That's my dog, though. My little anxious bean of a dog. Okay, cool. And then I will draw the arm part when I get to that point. So it's not just, here's a blob of a jacket. Like, I will add definition to it. Okay, before I paint the other side of it, though, I decided I wanted to draw a little teacup. So, keeping with the color theme. I'm thinking, well, I have the color theme, but for a little bit of contrast, I think I'm actually going to use purple, and I hope this is my water purple. That's just water from the top of this paint, because the paint kind of separates after it gets older, and then there's water on top. Yeah, only I sniff. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how he is. I'm like, that's not fair. If you want to sniff them unlimitedly, you must let them sniff you. But he's just like, nope. He has many cat-like qualities. Just why I frequently joked about him being a cat. Which is why Nessa's like, your dog that's actually a cat. So right now I'm trying to picture a hand. I'm going to pick up my own water cup because I'm trying to think that this is Amir's facing the camera. He is holding a teacup. So his fingers would be through the handle, and then his thumb would be on the back if he's holding it in his right hand. Okay, that's what I was just... I'm glad I have props like my own water cup because I'm trying to think about how hands are shaped. No play, only sniff. Exactly. That's exactly how he is. He's like, we're going to do this, but only on my terms. And they're like, well, I'm going to sniff you too. And he's like, nope. I'm doing a little teacup that has like a little scalloped edge on it. Kind of like a little flower. I feel like I've seen a teacup or some kind of glass before that's shaped like this. I don't know how practical it would be to drink out of, but it's definitely cute. And therefore, that's what Amir's teacup's going to look like. Gotta leave room to draw the tea inside. It's like a small china teacup is what I'm going for. Okay, so if it has a small handle, I'm trying to think also, if you had a small handled teacup, you would just leave your other fingers like lower. Okay. Just me thinking about how hands are shaped. That's all this is. So come down like this. I've never painted a teacup as part of a painting before. Like I've drawn teacups before, but I'm trying to think like how would it be if someone's holding it. Those are the real questions I'm asking here. And like I will decorate it because like the teacup is the one thing that's kind of like the accent color. So it's not going to be the same color as all the other stuff in it. Because the other stuff's really going to follow predominantly a yellow and orange and kind of earthy toned theme. But I still want to make it cute. So I'm going to include some other colors. Because again, it's like, this is where the kind of color scheme deviates a little bit by adding just additional colors. Okay. I think I am going to incorporate... No, not that color. Ooh. Yeah, this color. Cameo pink. I always think when I see paint colors, like some of them make sense. Like this black that I have is called Jet Black. This one that I have is called... That one's just called Yellow. That one's called New Shamrock. But like this one's called Key West. And like it gives out Key West vibes, but I'm like, somebody picked this name. Someone names all the paint colors, and they sit there, and they probably, if that was me picking paint colors, I know I'd spend way too long picking the color names. I'd be like, what about this other name? What about this name? So yeah, I respect people who pick color names. Because like, especially like people that like name nail polish and stuff, they come up with some interesting names for nail polishes. Names that always make me like, someone came up with this and someone was like, okay. Because some are really unique and things like, how did you think of this name? And like, I'm sure at some companies, they have somebody's just like a person that has another job do it. If I'm not mistaken, like, some nail polish companies, like, that's your job, is coming up with nail polish names. Like, that's what you're hired to do. That's your only task. Like, that just tickles me a lot to think about that. That there's somebody at a nail polish company and people are like, "What do you do for a living?" And they're like, "I'm the one that names the nail polishes." And like, I wonder what they're if that is like a real thing that they have. Like, what is their job title? I would love to know that. Things like that fascinate me because it's like weird little details that you don't think about things. But they're things that are, real things that exist in the world, and somebody had to do those things. So things like that are interesting. They're questions I have about life. Yeah, exactly, Cecil. I went to Key West the other day. Write that down. Yeah. They probably like just listen for weird phrases and they're like, I'm gonna do this. Like, this one here is called cloudless. And they're probably like, it was a cloudless, and then their friends like, write that down. I love that. Hello, Becky. Hello, Jazz. But yeah, I feel like I would do that because I'd always be on the lookout for like the next weird color name. So I would just be listening constantly, trying to find like, what's a weird name? But yeah. I can picture myself just being like, oops, not the right color. I can picture myself just being like constantly on the lookout for cool color names if that was my job. I have this book, I can't remember what it's called, but I do like it a lot. It's a book of like, it's kind of like a dictionary of rare and unusual words. It's something that I want to kind of make my own version of it eventually someday. Of just, in all the words I come across, like weird old words. Because there's a lot of words that have fallen out of fashion, or words in other languages that there's not really a good English equivalent to. But they have really unique and interesting and useful meanings, in my opinion. So, things I'm like, that would be cool if that was more of a word that people used. So I always like looking through books like that because it, again, has weird words. And I feel like if I was the person that named nail polish, I would look at the book and be like, here's a weird word. Because there's some really funny ones in there. Yeah. Yeah, imagine the hundreds of paint color swatches they named. That would be wild. It would be so wild. Of being like, yeah, here's a paint color. And coming up, because paint colors, that's true. Like, paint colors also have weird names. It's not just like yellow, slightly less bright yellow, dim yellow, really bright yellow. They have also creative names. And like, some of them don't make sense. And you're like, somebody came, like this paint, it's called Blue Kazoo. I'm like, why? It's a cool name, but someone was like, Blue, Kazoo. Yeah. Kazoo rhymes with blue. That will work. Thank you, Cecil. I do something like, I haven't made I think I have made a formal list of some words and stuff. But just have like different words. Because there's like different industries also have different words. Like, I know working in retail, there's a lot of words that I've heard used. Just for different things, and like, I know that like not all places probably use the same words for certain things, but it's just kind of words that things have been dubbed, so I think that's interesting. And also just like, some words are words that like I've come up with, and I'm like, but there's a helpful, usage for this word, so like, why shouldn't it be a word? And then also, like, there's so many interesting words, so I would like to do a book that's like a collection explaining, like, yeah, there's these cool words. Because, like, when you're writing, sometimes you want to express a particular concept, but, like, you're like, I don't know what I should call it. What would that word even be? So, because of that, yeah, I definitely will do that someday. Pajama Bottoms. I love that name, Nicole. That's a great name. And I would love to know how they came up with that name. they're probably getting in bed at night and they're like, where are my pajama bottoms? And they're like, oh yes, that's it. I gotta write that down. Yep. Those are some interesting color names, Becky. And they're probably accurate to those colors. Yeah. I never know how to pronounce the purple sounding word. So I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I know I've heard it pronounced before, but I don't remember how it's pronounced. So I'm not gonna make a fool of myself with this. But I do agree when I've heard it pronounced. It does sound like a purple. It doesn't sound like a green because it's it sounds too fancy and it doesn't sound like a green color. You picture green colors being more earthy. Yes, blue kazoo. Somebody was sitting there, they probably had a children's birthday party, and there was like a kid threw down the blue kazoo angrily, and they're like, I wanted the pink one. And then they're like, blue kazoo, yells his parent, who's the one who names the paint colors. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they do. They do suck. The retail names. Chartreuse. Okay, cool. Yeah, chartreuse does sound like a purple. It sounds like, to me, it sounds kind of like, I don't know how well you can see on the camera. This is a really dark purple. It's called purple pansy. It's like a deep plum. It's not showing up that well on the camera. It's like a deep plum color. I'm picturing chartreuse being like that. That's what I'm picturing. Yeah. Right now it's me painting fingers and being like, it's not really what fingers look like, but out here doing my best. I'm gonna fix the one line because like your fingers are not all the same length. Like just me practicing drawing hands. That's what I know everyone comes out here to see each week. Me anxiously drawing hands. And being like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, yeah, chartreuse is probably accurate. Yeah, I feel like... Yeah. Yeah. Purple pansy. But anyways. But yeah. It's interesting to think about how colors are named different things, and there's somebody that has to, like, come up with the colors. Like, me being like, I'm not happy with how this hand has come out. But I'm like, these fingers are kind of funky. They're not shaped right like the fingers. So, now comes the time of me being like, well, I have paint. I can fix these fingers. Because I don't want the fingers to look weirdly proportioned. And, hands are not my favorite thing to draw. I wonder if I'm sure there are. But, like, how many artists actually like drawing hands? I feel like it's not that many artists that actually like drawing hands. Because the hands are weird. And they're a weird shape. But they're, like, an important thing to draw. It doesn't change the fact that they're a weird shape. Me fixing my errors. Because it's paint and it's kind of forgivable. And when I scan this, I can erase if there's a difference in the parts that I've just painted white to paint over. Then I can fix it. Okay. I know the proportion now. Because I'm like, those fingers I drew were funky looking. Not the size of fingers. They were way too big. And also not at the right angles. Okay. So when that dries, I'll draw kind of a little finger out. And the thumb would be around the back of the cup so you wouldn't see it. And I'm trying to think where you see the hand. I mean, obviously there's the hand, so probably coming down. I'm just trying to really think about the proportions now of... So there's the hand. The hand, you know, comes out of somewhere, obviously. I'm also trying to think about the angle and the width of the hand. So it's not like a weirdly shaped hand. Because I'm picturing like his right arm is bent with like his arm like this, holding the tea up in front of him. I'm not good at drawing people's hands holding stuff. So I'm trying to think about like how would the hand. His hand's probably gonna be kind of funky. But you know, it will be okay. But yeah. I'm liking this better now. You see his hand. I'm gonna pick up my water cup. Try to exemplify. Okay, cool. So that's the correct angle. You would see his hand come down kind of sideways like that from his fingers. And then at an angle. So if he had his hand, yeah, that works. So I just need to remember the hand itself comes down kind of at that angle. Okay, so that's drawn. Now I can paint the rest of the brown part. So I'm trying to make the width of the shoulders match. Get that part. Kind of do the brush like that so I don't mess up the kind of fuzzy bottoms on the hair. I want to draw a little line of brown because his jacket does go down to there. And again, I'm trying to not mess up on this funky hand. Because drawing hands is hard, especially hands holding stuff. Hands holding stuff is the worst because it's not just, I can draw a hand decently if it's like a hand at somebody's side, but when you start putting different arm positions, then I have to, it's not something I've studied before, and it's something I do need to study more as an artist. But like, how does the hand angle change? Where do the fingers go? These are the questions, the burning questions I ask. Where do the fingers go? What do eyebrows look like? These are the kind of things that I Google. Okay, so we got that. And pretty soon it'll be time to paint the face in the background. And I'm thinking about eyebrows, so I probably won't forget the eyebrows. Because I've been painting all these people from Welcome to Nexilis, I've gotten a lot better about remembering, like, oh yeah, eyebrows are a thing that I need to paint. I need to add them, not forget about them. Okay, cool. And once this dries, I'm going to again add some definition, like lapels to the jacket, and then accentuate the arm. But for now that the jacket itself is done, now I can paint the rest of the... I'm coming up with cute ideas for the jacket. When the brown paint dries, I'm going to do an elbow patch over here because we can see the elbow. And I'm also going to maybe do a light print on the shirt, but I need to paint the shirt first so it can dry. Have you seen the meme with the two drawn people, the one covered by hair and the other one with hands behind the back? I'm like, Is that the one, Mal, that has the person is well drawn, and then there's a I've seen a meme before where the person is well drawn, and then they have like this really horribly drawn hand. I don't know if that's the same one, but feel free to send me that meme because it sounds hilarious. So if you want to send it to me on Twitter or whatever, or Discord, go ahead and do that, Eps, because that sounds hilarious. And again, I have seen the one where there's a guy and he's like well drawn, and then it shows his hand and his hand's like horrible. I don't know if it's the same one, but if it's not that one, then I don't think I've seen it. Hello, Mitch. How are you? Thank you for joining in. I'm glad you could come to the stream. Right now, Mitch, I'm painting rather, one of the characters from the Welcome to Nexilis D&D thing that my friend Casper has been doing, and I've been making the graphics for and stuff like that. So, drawing one of the NPCs from that. You think it's the same artist? Cool. That meme. That meme is good. Because that's how it is with drawing hands. Drawing hands is hard, and it's something that I want to get better at doing. Because obviously it's important. Like, how do I do it? By practicing. Including how to draw weird angles of hands. And that's one thing I should honestly do sometime, is study, like, in practice, drawing hands. Like, I'm going to draw a hand that's doing this. I'm going to draw a hand holding this kind of item. I'm going to draw a hand holding a cup. So, that would probably help. And also, like, I want to practice drawing different facial expressions. So, because of that, that would be a good thing for me to do. And that's one thing good about drawing all these characters, is having to practice those type of things. And having to think about, like, I want this person to be doing this. How am I going to do that? Okay, cool. So his shirt is done. I'm going to paint his neck. And I'll start working on the background while the shirt dries, and then I can add, like, the face and any details I'm going to add to the clothing. So, yeah. But that's the cool thing about art. It's like, there's that learning curve of trying to do things that are hard. But I think it also pushes you to do things beyond your skill level. Because sometimes I'll come up with an art thing and I'm like, I want to do this. But I'll be like, that's above my actual skill level, but I want to make it happen. So I'll have to learn I'll have to up my game to get to that skill level in order to make what I want to make. And I'll end up eventually making what I want to make, and it will look cool, and it will look the way I want it to look, and I'll be like, wait, I've gained the skills necessary to make this, which I didn't have before. Okay. So, trying to think what kind of pattern or background, because I've done kind of geometric backgrounds for all the other characters, so I want to do the same thing. But I'm trying to think, like, what is, because I did the circle around Thespis' head last week, so I don't want to do the same thing. I have an idea. Oops. I want to unstick that so I can turn it. I'm trying to think exactly what I want to do. Because the whole theme involves the sun, because he is a cleric of Palor, and Palor's symbol is a little sun symbol. So I want to figure out exactly what pattern to do that still keeps with the color theme and keeps with the pattern. Okay. So, okay. I can do a circle again. Okay, I'm going to do, the circle is going to be in orange. Because it's different enough that when I scan it, my computer will see it and acknowledge it as being a different color. At least I hope. I never know how my scanner is going to perceive any of my colors. Do I have a... I do. Hang on, everybody, because I just realized I have this other color of orange. Oops. I did not want the orange to come out that quickly. There is a very full cup of orange paint. Very carefully dip my brush in. Okay, this is the color orange I wanted. Because I started looking, I'm like, I'm using a darker yellow, like a more golden yellow. I want it to look different enough. This circle that I'm drawing, it's not really a circle. It's kind of a sun on the horizon kind of shape is what I'm going for. I didn't want it to become a problem of the colors looking too similar and not being enough definition. Both in general for the painting and because when I scan it, the colors are too similar, particularly pinks and oranges. Sometimes my scanner has a problem and it thinks all the colors are the same. And I'm just like, why? Or there's been times that I've scanned it and it's looked at the color profile totally wrong and scanned it in a very pale, dim, weird way. And I've scanned it again and it's been fine. I'm like, why couldn't you have done this right the first time, scanner? You had one job. you messed up. But you were able to do it eventually. Without me changing settings, I scan it again, it works. I'm just like, why'd you do that? I think it's because it gets in its mind that it's scanning like one color profile, maybe from the thing prior, and then it does the same thing for this as well, but then it's not the same color profile, so it just looks weird. That's my theory, at least. My scanner and printer is very fickle. I've had many fights with it, especially like 2 in the morning, trying to get orders packed and having it dripping ink on my paper. Or just smearing ink. And granted, it's because I use thicker paper probably than like what it's designed to print on a little bit. Sometimes that causes problems. Like I know that like my printer is just a cheap home printer. It's not a commercial printer. Eventually I'll upgrade it. It's fine for now. But I sometimes, I do have things that little disagreements. Okay. So I'm going to look up the... Thank you, Casper. I'm glad you like it. Getting ready to look up the Palor symbol so I can see how many points are on the Palor sun. Because I want to keep the theme. No, don't get dark in here. Well, if this lighting doesn't change soon, I will turn the light, but I think there's just some temporary clouds. It's like looking at my paper and suddenly I'm like, wait, it's so dark in here. I think there's just like a little cloud that went over the sun. But if not, I will turn on the light in the room. Okay, now I forgot what I was going to do. Okay. So Palor symbol. Yay, the sun's coming back. Which is appropriate. I'm drawing Amir, a cleric of Palor. The Palor symbol is a sunshine. My sunshine outside goes away. Because, this is what... Let's see if we can see it. That's what the Palor symbol looks like. This is my old phone, by the way. See all the fun cracks in the screen? Really great. Fun story about my wonderful phone being broken like that. I was leaving work one night, and I went to pick my phone up out of my pocket, and it just kept sliding. It didn't stop. So because of that, it landed on the ground, bounced a couple times. I didn't have it in a shockproof case at the time because I was going for aesthetics and not protection on my phone. I regretted that choice when I picked up my phone and saw that it was as you just saw now in the video, extremely cracked. I mean, granted, it was pretty old by the time this happened to it, so it wasn't like a brand new phone that I was like, oh no, I must get the screen fixed. And the battery's kind of getting old anyways, which, because it's an Apple product, it's expensive to get the battery fixed. So I was like, with my cell phone company, I could get a new phone for cheaper than I could get it fixed. So I just got the new one, which is the one I have now, which I've had for like a year and a half now. It's still going strong. I got it a shockproof case, which I'm grateful for because I've dropped it many times. So I'm glad that I made that choice this time. But I had this phone, and for a long time I was like, well, there's nothing to do with it. I'll keep it around. Nobody I knew wanted to buy it or anything. And it's kind of messed up. Like, it still works, but the screen doesn't click on things very well because of how broken it is. It has a piece of tape over it, so the glass isn't sharp, can't fall out, but still not a vibe. But anyways, but one thing I realized is, like, my phone still works as basically like an iPod Touch. It can use it on Wi-Fi, because we obviously don't pay for cell service for it, because we pay for, my new phone, which doesn't have a cracked screen. But my old phone still works at home on Wi-Fi, and the benefit of having it. My regular phone, thanks to my literally 95,000 photos, which are backed up in the cloud, so like only part of the photos on the phone, the main portion of the file stored in the cloud. That's the only reason it can have 95,000 photos on it. But the thing is that in doing so, my old phone has a lot more space on it than my regular phone. And because my regular phone, as of recently, anybody who may have seen my tweet, for example, I'm just trying to think about, because I need to add a divisional line. Maybe I know what I'm going to do. I want to paint this background yellow, but I don't want the yellow touching his hair, because it's going to look the same. So I'm going to do this. Anyways, I realized that my old phone has a lot of space on it. And, like, it's not too old that the software, like, I can still download, not every app, but most apps. Sometimes I have to download an older version of those apps, but I can still download the apps. So I'm like, I can use this as a way to have more storage overall between all my phones. And it's kind of a bummer because there's some apps I would like to have on, my main phone as well, so that I could use them when I'm not in my house. But you gotta make do with what you have, and right now it's better than nothing. And it's a nice little handy way to have additional storage for games and streaming apps and stuff, like for watching TV and movies and stuff. So that's what I've used it for, and that's why I have it around. And it's also nice because when I'm doing something like, for example, this stream, I can have my phone, which is what I'm streaming this on, streaming my art, while at the same time have another phone that I can look at and look up different things. If I need to, read a message about something. If I need to know, like, look up a reference image, like I've looked up the Palo reference image and the Frog and Toad outfit reference images, I can do all of that because I have this extra phone. So I do recommend, if you have an old device, like, it won't work as a cell phone anymore, but you can use it to maximize your storage if that's something that you struggle with. So that's why I have two phones. I'm not fancy. I'm like, oh, I've got two phones. They're so fancy. I'm like, no, one's really horrible and broken, but it has more space on it, so I have apps on it. That's why it exists. That's why I still have it. But yeah, recently I went through a really bad time with my phone because of so many images on my phone that I had literally two apps on my phone beyond, like, the ones you have to have on your phone, but only two apps. I had to straight up delete everything else because I had no space for them. And I told everybody, I'm like, I'm really sorry if I'm not as responsive to your messages, but like, I had to use the web version of Instagram and Facebook and Twitter for days when I wasn't home. When I was home, it was fine because I could use my old phone, which had those apps on it, you know? But I couldn't do them out and about. So I'm like, people were messaging me, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I can't see your stuff. The web version of Instagram, you can post photos from it, but you can't add to your story. So you can like stuff. You have some functionality, but not that much functionality. Okay. So this. And now that I've done that, haha, big paintbrush time to paint nice yellow background. And then I want to do some little embellishments at the background, then I'll paint the face. Because then all that will be dry. I know I'm getting paint on this desk and it is bumpy and may never come off, but I'm like, the risk you gotta take as an artist. I'm gonna kind of mix both colors of yellow together. So I mean, they're both quite similar, to be honest. I can see only a slight difference. Just kind of, but I like the sunny color scheme. And like I know when I painted Richard, it was, you know, like red and black and white, and that was the color scheme. And accent of green for his eyes. And then for Thespis, it was like jewel tones, like red and purple and green. And it's funny because like this painting is the opposite, let's say, of Richard's painting, because it's very bright and sunny, bright colors that you would never associate with like Richard. And I'll clean up the little lines because I'm aware that I got some yellow paint on this sun. I wish the cloud would stop going behind I wish the clouds stopped going in front of the sun. It's like I'm trying to paint a sunny cleric. It's like, stop cramping my style, Florida. Yeah, it gives the desk character. That's definitely right. The desk, like years from now, people will look at it and it won't just be a boring, clean-surfaced folding table. It's like, oh, there's paint smears on it. That's the funny thing, is like our kitchen table is the same one we've had our whole life. And like my grandparents bought it for me not for me, but for my family when I was probably like, I think 3 years old. We've had it ever since. It's held up a long time. It's not like the fanciest table, but it's decent. But because of all the things we've done on it, the surface of it's pretty messed up. It's pretty stained. There's a lot of marks and stuff from like where the coating scratched off. And there's a lot of paint marks and Sharpie. There's a lot of parts I was drawing on Sharpie and it soaked through the paper onto the table. That's what my table looks like. And it gives it character, which is why we've never like resurfaced it, because I'm like, there's a lot of memories on this table. Like, we've made a lot of art and stuff on this table. So like, it might look kind of chaotic, but we're all here for that. Okay. Me again forgetting to rinse out a brush and then it being like, oh no. Alright. So, while that's drying, I'm going to start painting the eyes. Okay, and I'm... Okay. So I'm going to do kind of a bluish green for the eyes. And for that, I'm going to mix up a little paint color. Come on, paint. I'm going to take this. This is like my one exception. Like, I'm going to mix this in the cap because I don't have anything else in here good to mix it on. And they're similar colors, so it's not the end of the world. So I'm trying to make... Darn it, I need a little bit more blue. That's the hard thing about mixing paint. Is like... Paints, the pigments and stuff, the way that they are, doesn't always mix the way you think it would. Sometimes you're like, if I had 50% blue and 50% green, it will look like 50% blue and 50% green. And then you make it and that's not the color it is. And you're like, what's going on with this? Okay, this is a nice color. And draw the irises. And then draw the pupils here in a minute. But yeah, it's fun painting these characters. Me putting too much paint. But that's okay. That's how I roll. Maybe like, does this character need that thick of a layer of paint? Nope. Did it happen? Yep. But yeah. This is me concentrating on drawing eyes. Because eyes are another thing that I'm like trying to get better at drawing. One thing hard about eyes is because like generally you want them to look even. And that can be hard. Anytime you have to make something even when you're drawing manually. Digital drawing's nice because if I make an eye and it looks nice, I'm like, I'm copying and pasting that and it's gonna have two. Thanks for stopping by, Mal. I appreciate you stopping by and I hope you have a good time shopping. Thank you. It's always nice having you show up for my streams. And the replay of this will be available on YouTube and stuff. And at some point I will be posting this art, so you'll still be able to see how it comes out. So, bye. Hope you have a good day. Okay. I don't like doing too much for the whites on these series of paintings that I've been doing. You know, like really you have more white to your eye than this, but I want the eyes to be a bit more prominent. So it's more just like, well, gotta add some whites to the eyes, so I will, but... Okay. We got that. I gotta adjust one thing. Just with the shape. Just a tiny bit of fixing. Alright, cool. That's good. Now it's time to draw the pupils, to which I have not opened my black paint yet. I don't want to have to turn on the light in the room, but I might have to. Maybe I'm going to go do that super quick. Of course, the sun's probably going to come out now that I've done that. But that's a little better. Didn't make that big of a change. Mostly it's just hard for me because I'm trying to see the colors, but like it made the colors reflective because there's so little light coming in. I was trying to see like, what's the color doing? What do we got going on with that? I know I'm adding too much paint to this. Which, I mean, it's not horrible. It'll just take longer to dry. Because this underlying paint is still wet, I have to kind of drip the paint. I can't be so much like, I'm going to straight up paint this. I'm just going to have to deposit it on top of already wet paint. And then try to make the pupils look even. And, you know, kind of round. And then not put my hand in it. I've been having fun painting these characters. Both because it's helped me get better at painting, especially painting people. But, like, I love all these characters. I loved all of them when I did Welcome to Nexilis. Because I played it as a mini campaign prior to it being streamed. I probably played it. It was in, I think, like April or May of last year. I played it over Zoom. So kind of similar, just wasn't a stream. But it was, you know, still a virtual game. It was my first time playing D&D. And I had a lot of fun with it. And, like, most of the characters that you see in Welcome to Nexilis now were the same. Let me try to make the eye people round. Okay, I fixed it. Alright. But yeah, I fell in love with the characters when I played this campaign. So, because of that, it's fun being able to paint them now. And it's fun watching Welcome to Nexilis because I'm getting to revisit the characters. Okay, good. I'm pleased with that. Drawing noses is also hard because, like, it's an important part of somebody's face, but if you mess up on it, it will be weird. But yeah. Now I'm going to draw some eyebrows. Try to clean off some of my brushes. I can picture him having, and I'm trying to, I want to do a little bit more with the bangs, I think. But first let me do the eyebrows. These colors of yellow are so similar, I'm making sure I'm dipping it in the same one I've been using, right? I want kind of a open, friendly expression. I'm trying to think like, how am I going to do that with these eyebrows? Kind of upraised a little bit, like, oops, got water on my little, water dripped off the top of the paintbrush, and that was what just happened. But yeah, I'm always trying to think, because like eyebrows and the shape of things like that, it's a good way to show the personality of a character and like what their emotions are. But also, those things can be hard. Okay, good. I was like, I want to add some bangs. I hope they come out good. I'm pleased with that. That's better than the original bangs that I had. after this, I'm going to use the same color pink that I used on the teacup for his mouth. I like the hair now. And I'm going to take the same yellow because the paler symbol that I saw on Google had kind of an outline like that, which I thought was nice looking. So I'm going to do the same thing on here. Got 3 colors of yellow. Oops, no. I just dipped it in the orange. My brain's like, 3 colors of yellow, yeah. I'm like, that's not yellow, brain. That's orange. I'm going to draw the pattern on his shirt and the little paler necklace. And then he will be done. It's almost done. Just going to smooth out those paint lines. But yeah, D&D is a lot of fun. And it's really fun also when the NPCs are so good, and I love all the characters in Welcome to Nexilis so much. I know some of them are theoretically parts of other projects that Casper's been working on, but it's still all fun having them in one place. And it's fun. It's so fun to watch. Because, especially, it's extra fun to watch because it's a mini campaign that I've played before. So I know some of what happens. I know some plot things. I know the spoilers. So watching other people do the same thing and seeing, like, when I played it, this happened. And seeing how different people solve things is a lot of fun. Thank you, Cecil. I'm glad you like it. Trying to figure out, like, how to best capture Amir's vibe, and I'm really pleased with it because I feel like I have done an accurate representation. So yeah, thank you. I'm glad it's coming out well. Especially because you know the character more than I do. Just cleaning up those little lines. But yeah. Okay. And then there'll be little stripes. Because I want to really lean into that sun theme. As a matter of fact, start with stripes on all the points of the sun. But yeah, I'm trying to think what pattern to put on his shirt. I'm trying to think of like a little cottagecore pattern. Because I want to add a small, probably in pink and or yellow pattern on his shirt. I'm just trying to think what is most fitting. Because he's cottagecore, there's like a lot of cute cottagecore prints and stuff that I've seen on shirts. I'm trying to think what to put. Because I just want to add a little bit of fun to his outfit, and I feel like he would wear a patterned shirt. He would wear the cottagecore equivalent of like the uncle shirt. And the cool thing, little stripes I've just done also play into the little stripes that I did earlier that I was trying to think like, what can I do to make these look more cohesive? with the rest of the theme because it's like random stripes. But adding these sun ray stripes, then like they're extensions of that. I always like when I'm drawing something or painting something and I'm like have a recurring theme or something and I find a way that ties it all together and I'm just like, yes. Like, that's really, really fun and exciting. Alright. So I have that. I'm going to paint the mouth. And try to think what a little pattern to do. And then draw the details on the jacket. I want to get the pink. I want him to have kind of a serene expression on his face. I want to paint the mouth first because it's higher up on the painting. Then I'll paint the shirt pattern because I was like, I should do the shirt pattern first. Like, would make sense. But the problem if I do the shirt pattern first, the problem is that I'm going to then have to put my hand in it to do the mouth. So I thankfully realized that before I started painting it and decided to not do that. To not put my hand in a place where I might fail and dip my whole hand in the paint. Okay, so I'll draw just thinking what I want to do. Okay. Just a subtle indent. And with an indent, if I want to add a slightly darker shade of pink, I can do that, but I have a basic line carved out, so I can do that. Yeah, rays of sunshine. Okay, so pattern. I'm trying to think. Okay, I'm gonna try it in pink. Make sure there's no water that's gonna drip. I've decided to do little cupcake patterns. That's what Amir's shirt's gonna have on it. Because let's face it, if Amir could pick any pattern and there was a cupcake print, I feel like he would pick the cupcake print without hesitation. I mean, they're also going to look like mushrooms. It's also cottagecore. Canonically, these are cupcakes. It's like, that would be so cute. I'm a big fan of food printed shirts and socks and things like that. I have my collection of novelty socks, of which there are many food print ones. So anybody who knows me knows that I am a sucker for food printed things. I would wear a cupcake print shirt. And I think Amir would also wear a cupcake print shirt. Yes. He would wear a cupcake print shirt. I'm trying to think about where everything would be divided. And I'm also trying to think, like, what is my desire for micro details? Am I going to do some micro details? I think I am. I'm adding the cupcake wrapper lines. That's what I'm doing. I have a very fine tipped paintbrush. to make sure these look like cupcakes. And then also, trying to think whether when I'm done with this, like I can't do it now, maybe, because the paint's still wet. I'm trying to think if I want to add glitter to it. I am a big fan of including glitter. These are the sprinkles on the cupcakes. And I'm going to also try with this, do a couple orange sprinkles. Amir's Cupcake Cottagecore shirt. And then the only detail left to do, just add tea into the teacup and real quick paint the accent lines on the arms, and then Amir will be done. Which is exciting. Oops, I just realized I did not add yellow sprinkles onto this last little cupcake down here. I mean, yeah, the cupcake. I thought I was calling it the wrong thing because I was like, cupcake mushroom. Like, what is it? And I'm like, nope, cupcake. I said the right thing. I knew what I was doing. That one's by like the crease in the shirt. So for the tea, I don't want to mess up what I have going, but I also want a kind of a pale tea color. Try my little technique. I just wet the zone that I want to paint. Now I'm going to pick up paint, and theoretically it should stick to the zone that I have wet because the paint around is dry. I want to have just a real kind of pale tea-like wash of color. Haha, cool. I'm just gonna fix real quick. Oh no, that's what I knew at some point in one of these I would do that. I just took some of the cupcake color and put it on the shirt. Oh well, that is an easy fix. I fixed that. No big deal. Kind of frustrating a little bit because I just dipped my hand in the cupcake, but nothing I can't fix. And I've already fixed it. Okay, tea is done. Time for accent. Oops. That's the sound of me dropping a paintbrush on the floor. Alright, so I want to add accents to the fingers. So I have 3 of my fingers through it. I kind of have my little finger out maybe. And then my hand would be at an angle. Just trying to think of the angle. I was holding a cup. It would be angled towards the cup. All right. That's one thing I like about paint is like, I'm like, huh, I didn't like how they came out. It's like, I can paint over it. Finally, okay, cool. There we go. His hand is finally done. Yay! Okay. Now time to accent his clothing. So for the jacket accent. Really all I want to do here is just show this is his arm. I'm going to draw a little elbow patch, which to be honest was the other idea I came up with when I was like earlier in the stream. I was like, hey, I'm going to do cute clothing details. And part of that was me being like, elbow patch, elbow patch. And draw a little stitching around the elbow patch. Because I think little stitching is like a cute detail. So elbow patch. Doing rounded lapels. Going for the frog and toad vibes. But yeah, next week, I still have to figure out who I want to draw next week. We'll have to see. But next week, I probably won't be able to do a stream earlier in the week. I probably won't be able to do on Tuesday because I have some stuff I have to do at the beginning of the week. I think I have some stuff to do on Tuesday, so I think it'd be too rushed if I do it then. So it will probably be another week that only has one art stream, but I'll keep everybody posted. If nothing else, I will see everybody on Friday again at 2:45, which I think is a good time for me to start my stream. I have time to do stuff I need to do without it being like, oh no. Okay, so Amir's armpit would be there. Okay. That's done. Face is done. I would like to do a little blush theoretically, but I don't think I can do it in a way that won't be weird. In a way that will actually show up without being too dark. So I probably won't add that to the painting, but I probably will add that in Photoshop. Thank you! I'm glad, Cecil. I'm glad you think it's cute. Okay, and for the accent color on the shirt, I'm going to use yellow without smearing my cupcakes. And get the other little collar part. And then just gotta add a couple little buttons. I'm gonna do brown for the buttons, like the light brown. And add a little button right up there at the top. Because then they're about evenly spaced. I'll probably do in here because I mean there's shirts that usually have one at the top and then one a bit lower down, and then they're more evenly spaced. Just trying to think. Maybe I want to accent the buttons with orange instead of brown, so they fit the color theme better. Yeah, I like that better. They were a little too bold when they were brown, so then I was like, eh. Okay, making sure there's no other details that I've left out that I did not want to leave out. And I'm looking, trying to see if my glitter's in here. That's the thing, though. If I had glitter, I don't know which part I would add glitter to. It would look really cool if I added glitter to the whole sun background. But I also... I'm just seeing what colors glitter I have. That's what the sound effects are for. I have a lot of gold glitter, but I don't think it's in here. If I add glitter, though, it would make it glossy, and I'll have to put gloss on the rest of it so it matches. Unless I just do... Maybe I'll just do the sun. I want to include glitter. So I'm going to use this orange glitter. Here's how if you ever see me with paintings with glitter, to be honest, I have a lot of paintings with glitter. What I do, as you've just seen, I put the glitter on the canvas. I just buy, to be honest, like there are glitter paints and I do buy this sometimes, but sometimes I'm just like, this is glitter glue. This is what I'm going to use. And then I just kind of spread it around. Because I like adding glitter to paintings. It's a nice way to just kind of finish it. If you know me, you also know I'm a fan of glitter. It's getting that glitter off his hair. Got a bit too close. All right. There's a chance I might add more glitter to it. I'll probably just leave it as it. I mean, I would always go overboard and be like, everything needs a bunch of glitter. And some things do, but I just want to accent the sun as being like glowing and sparkly. Yay! Thank you, Casper. I'm glad you have a little break. Thank you. I'm so glad you like it, Casper. That makes me happy. I'm glad. Especially because your character, it's always nice to hear, especially from whoever created the character, that they like it, because it's like, hey, it makes me happy. All right. And what did I say I was going to do? There was another thing I was going to do, and I'm like, what was it, though? I want to accent the lips just a tiny, tiny bit more while I try to remember what else I said. Because I feel like there was something, I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. And it was something easy and small that I was going to add. Out of the buttons, out of the shirt, out of the details. Again, right now, I'm on my napkin, mixing up just a tiny bit of paint. Slightly darker pink to accent the little lip gap. There it goes. Again, in Photoshop, I'll probably add... a little blush to his cheeks, but that's going to be hard for me to do painting. So I probably won't do it in painting. Okay. I'm really trying to think, because I really think there was something else. I'm like, I'm going to add this, but maybe I did everything I was supposed to do. Add the glitter. He has eyebrows. He has a nose. He has a jacket. He has an elbow patch. Oh, fingernails. That's easy. I'm just pleased that I remembered to add fingernails for once. Because in the same vein as eyebrows, it's the kind of thing I forget. Then my characters don't have fingernails, and I'm like, oh, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Because you can just assume they're fingernails, you just can't see them. Okay. Well, I honestly can't remember right now if there's anything else that I said I was going to add. If I think of it, I will go ahead and add it. But I think it's done. Thank you. I'm glad you love the background. Well, I'm glad Ollie's hanging out. Alrighty. So yeah, I'm just looking over it one more time. He has a jacket. His hand is done. He has his teacup. His teacup is done. His shirt has a print. It has buttons. It has the accents. He has a couple wrinkles in the shirt. And I did the glitter on. Oh, I know. I almost forgot Palo necklace. That's what I was gonna do. Sometimes people don't have fingernails. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes they just don't. The paler necklace is what I was gonna draw. I knew there was something, and it kept bothering me because I'm like, it's something important, but I could not, for the life of me, think of what it was. Now I'm like, the paler necklace, of course. That's sound effects of me pulling paint off of a paintbrush and being like, needs a bit more work on that one. Paler necklace. Okay. Yes, the paler necklace. I honestly, it was like, I kept feeling like there was something really important I was supposed to do, but I couldn't remember what it was, and I'm like, wait a second. Paler necklace. I'm glad you love the cupcakes on the shirt, Cecil. I was trying to think, because I'm like, what's something that's cute and cottagecore that I can do? And then I was like, well, Amir likes baking, and I was like, cookies. I'm like, cookies is kind of hard to tell what they are, though, if I drew them. I'm like, slices of cake would be cool, but it's kind of small to draw a slice of cake that looks like a valid slice of cake. So, because of that, I was like, wait a second. What if I did cupcakes? Yeah, get the paler necklace. Yeah, it kept bothering me because I'm like, and like in looking for that, then I realized I hadn't done the fingernails, which is something I wanted to add. So I realized that, so that was good that I remembered that. But I kept feeling like there's an important detail I had to do with his shirt. And I'm like, what was it though? Like I did the cupcakes, I did the buttons, I did the accent and the elbow patch and everything like that. Figured out how to draw a hand finally, and like I'm doing good with all that. And I was like, well, wait a second. At least the paler symbol is easy to draw. And it also, again, I always like when there's little things I can include as a recurring symbol in art. And like here, paler symbol, other paler symbol. Because yeah, we need this little paler necklace. Alrighty. And me being like, okay, how can I get a really small strand of paint? Just do a little necklace chain. No. I was about to drip water on my paper. Okay. That was a success. You make it a tiny bit thicker. And then just be able to repeat it. Yay! Okay, cool. All that is done now. Amir is officially done. He even has fingernails. And he has his little paler symbol. Alright. So yay. I really want to thank everybody for coming out to the stream today. Because I think this is the stream I've had the most viewers on. I had a pretty lot on the Thesphis one last week. But like, I don't know if there was more viewers at any point, but I did see like up to 8 viewers when I looked over at it. So that's really exciting because that's more viewers than I've ever had on a stream before. And even like now, even though it's, almost 2 hours into a stream, there's still 6 people watching. So I appreciate everybody who's able to show up. Mitch, if you're still watching, I appreciate you for being able to come out and watch my art stream, because unless you didn't post in the chat but you've watched before, I think it's probably the first one you've been to, so thank you for showing up. thank you, Casper and Cecil, for your support and encouragement in drawing Amir. It's always, again, nice to have people who know a character well being like, yeah, this looks nice. So I appreciate y'all's support a lot. Thank you to everybody else. Like, I know Epps is not watching it right now, but thank you, Epps. Thank you, Nicole, if you're still watching. Thank you, Becky. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for watching and coming out to watch this. I had a lot of fun painting Amir. And here's the finished painting. And like this part won't be so shiny like when I scan it. So it when it dries it won't be so shiny, but it will still be glittery. It just won't be like, it won't look like that. Thank you, Mitch. I'm glad that you like seeing it from start to finish. I'm glad that you like it. It's fun showing everybody the process of like doing a painting. And like for such a long time I just made art and it's like, this is my art. And I just make it by myself, but it's also like, it's been a lot of fun being like, I'm making art and I'm going to show people. And then, you know, they could just see how it comes out and see my process and things like that. So that's been a lot of fun. I'm glad people enjoy seeing it. But yeah, there is Amir, and I'm going to post this online after it dries and I can scan it. Because if you can see the reflection, his eyes are pretty wet with paint because I had to put a lot of paint on there. So it's going to be a bit before they dry enough for me to scan. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how this came out. I love all the little details. The cupcakes, Palo necklace, little cup. I got better at drawing hands holding teacups, so that's a good thing. And yeah, I'm really pleased with how it came out. So thank you everybody so much. I'm going to be doing another art stream on next Friday at 2:45 Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to be painting another character from Welcome to Nexilis. I just got to figure out which one. Thank you, Casper. Yay, I'm so glad you like how it came out. And Casper, I'll send you the finished one later and figure out when I'm going to post it on social media, but there you go. Amir, Cleric of Palor, with this little cupcake shirt and teacup and sparkly Palor sun behind his head. Yeah. So, thank you everybody so much for coming out, and again, I'll continue making announcements about when the next art stream will be, but until then, I hope everybody has a good time, has fun working on whatever they're working on, stays safe, and just in general has a good time. So, thank you everybody so much for coming out, and bye!